Welcome back to Veterans Corner. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan. On the show today, we have musician. We have Tim Steinruck, all the way from British Columbia. Thanks for getting up early today, Tim.
No problem, man. You know that's what I love to do. I mean, this is the best part of the day.
I agree. I know you're an early riser like me. We talk all the time in the morning. Like I know it's 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock out of there, and it's like 10 o'clock here. But it's wonderful. Like I love that you're such a go getter, Tim. Like you just amazing, super accountable, super responsible, very innovative. Like you do it all. So tell people a little bit about yourself, Tim, and then we'll get into how you supported the channel, please.
Sure, sure. Well, I mean, first of all, I am a creative, a co-creative entrepreneur is what I call myself. Simply because I love to create with other people, and I'm very passionate about doing things in my life and supporting causes that are making some kind of a change in the world. What you do, Jay, is very inspiring. A couple years ago, I got involved with working with veterans, and it came from being involved with Rise Up TV, which is a docudrama slash reality TV show. And we were planning to go over in Europe. This was in 2022, I believe. Yes, and we were planning to go over to Europe, and I knew that one of the locations that we were going to was actually the beaches of Normandy, Utah Beach in Normandy, France. And so, knowing that that was going to happen, I sort of projected myself to that time, and I said, "Hey, if I was on Normandy Beach, what would be the song that I would sing?" And uh, and so I wrote this song, and it was about D-Day and really honoring those men that were there on the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. And I wrote the song called Warrior, and was able to perform it on the beach there. Obviously, that was a very emotional situation because you could feel what had happened there, and so after that, I just became really passionate about it. I just asked myself, what can I do? What can I do more to support veterans? And that's when you and I started talking. And we did another Rise Up TV tour, which was during Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and I think that was right around Remembrance Day. And so I attended a bunch of events down there, performed Warrior, obviously, and it just struck a chord with me how important this is, the supporting of veterans, the supporting of those that have fought for our freedom. That is more important than ever.
I love that, Tim. I love the way you talked about Normandy, and we all have a big hero that joined you, which would be Fraser Newcomb. So it was like amazing the stories you tell, like and the people you're attached to. I want to give a big props to Big Records and Mark. Can you tell us our viewers a little bit about Big Records, Tim, and about how it's so supportive for independent musicians?
Sure. Yeah, I've been involved in big records for about 4 or 5 years now. Sometimes very closely, and then sometimes really just as a consultancy. Oh, we're live. I love it.
Oh yeah, as you're talking, I'm posting. So, oh yeah, people are commenting.
Excellent, excellent. But yeah, no, big records. What Mark has started there in supporting independent artists and really bringing them to market and to the forefront and to people's awareness is something that I've become very passionate about. And so bringing all these artists together for our very first live stream, because I know we're going to be talking about Vetstock, was really a celebration of all of the work that has been done over the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, I have to comment because I know I've jumped on board Big Records in support of the musicians through our publicity platform through Wild Child Records. But
Mm.
before I talk about that, I just have to say, like, you guys are very hands on when it comes to tangible support. Like, all of your musicians are always doing something from Marie down in the USA to Dan down in Texas to Fraser out in the West Coast to Brandy out in Seattle to Special Agent Sunshine. Like, they're either they got a gig coming up that they're prepping for. They have a new release. They're in the studio doing a new album. So I have to hand it to you guys. Like, you guys are really, really support independent musicians. And Marcus and you guys are such hands-on. So that's awesome. Let's flip it over now. Let's talk about the last month of February. Oh my goodness. Like, it's been a month of the ages. So first, I just want to set it up, frame it up a little bit for our listeners who are commenting. Thank you so much for commenting. Well, we love the comments. On February 3rd or 2nd, February 2nd, we had a fundraiser called Vetstock out at Legion 8 in British Columbia in White Rock. It was a super success. The whole team pulled together without a couple of, things. But, we had the team. And Tim stepped up and emceed with Shailene, wonderful Sonny and Cher duo there. We loved it.
Yeah.
It was live stream for 4 hours or 5 hours all across the world. Thanks to Barry and Hive Music. He did a wonderful job. I love the 5-camera setup. Like, oh my goodness, like, so pro. And like Tim was saying, it was our first together event, and we reached our goal, which was to create a second phase, which is an employment program for wannabe television talk show hosts. And it's going to be very innovative thanks to Tim and his high-tech technology. So, Tim, I'm going to hand it off to you because obviously you were the MC for the event. You sort of controlled the day, you and Mark and Shay. So give our viewers your thoughts on the day, and then I'll just jump in.
Well, I mean, first of all, I just want to say that to put on something like this takes an army of people, and it takes months and months of planning. I think there was we've been planning this event for about 8 months, and it started off very simple and then turned into something huge. I mean, 15 production people is what it took to put this thing on, right? This actual event, and it all happened, like you said, in like 4 hours, right? That was the runtime of the show. And there's always challenges. First of all, getting a venue. So I would just a big shout out to Chris at Legion 8 for for hosting us at his place. That was huge. Then there's the sound. So many people donated their time and donated their services, and these things don't happen without that, right?
And the sponsors, thanks to
all the sponsors, yeah, all the sponsors, and there's so many I can't I'm not even going to start rattling off names because I'm probably going to miss a bunch of them. But my focus, was the actual production. My band, the Mighty One, was playing, so that was obviously something that was very important to me, and the showcasing of big records artists. But the number one thing was to support the Disability Channel and Veterans House, and supporting veterans in general, and just bringing awareness to some of the challenges that veterans have. And it was at a very strategic time, because this was just days before the Invictus Games, took place in Vancouver. But getting back to actual Vetstock, I'll just sort of recap the day. Getting to the venue very early, setting up all of the staging and all of production. And you got to remember, it's not like you're just putting on a show, putting up some speakers and some amps and some microphones and you go. No. It was way more than that, because we had to live stream. And so there was a full camera crew. Mike Keeping from Trackstars came in, set up his whole video setup, brought in 5 camera guys, and it was this huge thing. So I think we sound checked and tweaked and everything to get the live stream right and everything. I think we tweaked right until the last 10 minutes before showtime.
Well, isn't that the way? It's always the way, right up until the light goes green. You're not panicking. It's organized chaos. It's called production, because there's so many switches that have to go on at the same time. And so everybody's, it's like I said, organized panic until, okay, let's go time, and it's go. So I have to hand it to you guys. I actually talked to Chris, who's the president of the Legion. He was over the moon saying anytime you guys want to come back and do another event. And like I said, so now we are going to follow up with an education, I guess, element of the fundraiser, which is to create another purpose for veterans or veteran related spouses or family or supporters, because everybody needs a purpose in life. So what we're trying to do is help veterans transition from the battlefield to the work class, right, to the classroom, to get a new skill in media, which we teach either in front of the camera or behind, and then get them a job or hire them at the channel. So we really want to thank Tim and the crew, Big Records, and Mark and Barry and all the musicians, like fabulous. Like I was talking to Mark and I was saying, you know, there was so much talent on that day. It was almost like it was a festival. You know, it was like there was too much talent for the location, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing to have, right? Too much talent. How can you say no to that? But I think next time, and I know Tara has been amazing. So I believe there's some type of festival in the works, which we'll give more information down the road. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a quick break?
Sure.
And then we're going to come back and you're going to tell us about all the experience at the Invictus Games.
Sounds great.
Right on. Okay, stay tuned. On the show today, we have musician, Mr. MacGyver, Mr. Supporter, Tim Steinruck from Big Records. Stay tuned. You're watching Veterans Corner. We'll be right back. Thanks for commenting, by the way, people.